This episode of Nerdist News is brought to you by FX's What We Do in the Shadows, premiering tonight at 10 on FX. The first look at Star Wars Episode 9 has us asking, is this real or fake? Star Wars Celebration is 2 weeks out, and as we get closer to the biggest Star Wars event this side of the galaxy, we know practically nothing about Episode 9. But that all may have changed when an unofficial low-res poster and character sheet dropped on Reddit Wednesday, giving us our first look at where things are heading for the last chapter of the Skywalker saga. Obviously, we're gonna throw up a Death Star-sized spoiler warning here, but if you do stick around for the deets, you should take them with a crate-sized grain of salt.
Salt.
Now, these images are unconfirmed, and it's highly likely they're not final versions. With that in mind, we think there's enough evidence that points to these being potential drafts from the film's marketing or retail materials, so take the spoiler warning, and let's get into it! Starting from the top, we've got some classic ships returning to the big screen framed against the backdrop of some Imperial/First Order aesthetics. And in the top right corner, we've got an orange X-Wing, a blue A-Wing, and surprise, surprise, a Y-Wing. That's right, the OG bomber is back and making its sequel trilogy debut, which must mean the Resistance is still in a bad place after The Last Jedi if they're again turning to what was originally a Clone Wars era ship. Those things must be ancient by now. Now, moving into the characters, Rey is front and center with a slight variation on her space buns and a new outfit that's lighter in color. Since Rey is rocking this white look, it's clear that she's not even close to going dark side. To continue her journey in the light, it looks like Rey managed to fix the blue Skywalker lightsaber, which was broken in The Last Jedi. Check out that new hilt of her saber, which appears to be held together with some kind of leather, tape, or a copper-looking band. And right over Rey's shoulder is everyone's favorite porg-hungry Wookiee, Chewbacca, looking exactly as we'd expect with his classic bandolier and bowcaster. Chewie-wise, there's nothing new to report, but take a look at who's standing next to him. We get our first look at Naomi Ackie, who is playing a new character, which according to the character sheet is named Jannah. We had previously heard that she was going to be playing Vera Calrissian, Lando's daughter, and this still may be the case. But for now, all we know is her name and what we can tell by her costume. On the character sheet, Jannah is rocking a bow and arrow, and her costume matches what we've previously seen from behind-the-scenes photos from the set, with her out on a field with Finn and Poe and some space horses. Cutting across to the left, we see Finn with his longer hair, as we've seen in social media photos. Finn's new do also lends credence to the theory that there will be a bit of a time jump in Episode 9. Finn's got himself some new duds, which include a resistance vest and a new, smaller blaster. Behind Finn, we see a new alien character creeping over his shoulder. Now, this creature has made appearances before in older leaks, but we have yet to learn any details about them. On the other side of Finn, we've got C-3PO packing heat. What the what? That's right. He's draped in Chewie's bandolier, brandishing Chewie's bowcaster, and even has Rey's staff over his shoulder. As we all remember, things don't go too well for C-3PO when he's in combat.
Die, Jedi dogs! What did I say?
So it's hard to believe the etiquette and protocol-loving droid would be joining the fight. We're thinking it's more likely he's serving as a weapons caddy to the team, and we could see him not being too happy about taking on that job.
We seem to be made to suffer. It's our lot in life.
Moving right along, next we see a sharp-looking Oscar Isaac as Poe wearing a trendy Infinity scarf and gloves. He's also leaning more into an Indiana Jones/adventurer vibe here too, which we've seen in those BTS photos with Naomi Ackie that we mentioned earlier. And clearly Poe has had time to stop by the barber because his coif is looking more tame since we last saw him. Next to Poe is yet another new character decked out in a purple-looking jumpsuit with a metallic helmet, blaster, belt, and other silver and gold accents. Now, according to the character sheet, this is Zori, and she is rumored to be a bounty hunter played by none other than Americans alum Kerry Russell. All we've heard officially about Russell's role is from the casting announcement in Variety, which said she would be playing an action-heavy role. Zori's jumpsuit in the poster looks like it would lend itself to action, and Russell herself told Stephen Colbert this week that she has the coolest costume, so this could definitely fit that description. Checking out the other droids on the poster, it looks like Poe's little buddy BB-8 has their own little buddy.
Buddy, I'm so glad to see you.
This other little droid has appeared in older leaks, and we don't know much about them except for the fact that they will annoy BB-8. Now, as we move to the bottom half of the poster, we've got Kylo Ren dead center, and looks like he didn't let the past die since he's got his old helmet back. It looks like it's been fused back together after his destructive temper tantrum. Kylo is also brandishing his classic crossguard red lightsaber and a cloak that looks much more worn down than what we've previously seen him in. Behind Kylo, we get our first good look at who we are pretty sure are the Knights of Ren. based on the similar helmets and the weapons. Seriously, one of them has a Buster Sword, as seen in Rey's Force vision in Episode 7. While most took Rey's glimpse of them to be a flashback to Kylo Ren destroying the Jedi Temple, we're positing that there's a chance this could actually have been a glimpse of Rey's future, and that this is something we could see play out in Episode 9. Just look at this piece of evidence. How would Kylo and company have had time to get sweet gear in Kylo's trademark red lightsaber during the time Luke was knocked out and buried under the hut? And like Loki sitting on the couch above the Knights of Ren, we see the Millennium Falcon, which looks about the same except for what might be a new radar dish on top. Now, speaking of ships, on the other side of the poster, we see a couple of TIE fighters along with what appears to be an updated version of the TIE Interceptor, which first appeared back in Return of the Jedi, and lurking in the background, we've got a couple of Star Destroyers. Next, we have some stormtroopers in white, in contrast to the red stormtroopers lining the bottom of the poster. These red troopers are rumored to be Kylo's personal army, like how Vader had the 501st Legion. And finally, at the bottom of it all, we see the Star Wars logo, but still missing the title. So that's a lot of detail in one poster, but we're also missing quite a few major characters like Rose, General Leia, Lando Calrissian, and R2-D2. Again, since this is a very unconfirmed image, it's likely we'll see at least some of those other characters included in whatever the final movie poster and images will be. In any case, Star Wars Celebration is just around the corner, where we could possibly get a title and maybe even a teaser like we got for The Last Jedi in 2017, but again, this is still just a maybe. I mean, probably, but maybe not. But probably, but maybe not.
Maybe.
But probably. Until then, we'll just have to wait. But what do you folks think? Is this poster the real deal or a somewhat convincing fake? Does this confirm some of your own Episode 9 theories? And which of these costumes are you already prepping for Halloween? Let's discuss. Thanks again to our sponsor, What We Do in the Shadows. From the director of Thor Ragnarok and 1/3 of the creators of Flight of the Conchords comes a comedy series you can really sink your teeth into. Based on the cult classic film, What We Do in the Shadows is a documentary-style look into the daily, or rather nightly, lives of 4 vampires who've lived together for hundreds of years in Staten Island. Tune into the series premiere of What We Do in the Shadows tonight at 10 on FX.